So, today we're going to dive into a story that pretty much swept across the entire internet. It's a simple but really profound tale about a blind balloon seller. And it's just this powerful look at what can happen when one person decides to actually see someone instead of just looking away.
Okay, so this is the image that kicks everything off. I mean, just let that sink in. It's such a stark and lonely picture. For hours, this poor man was just trapped in his own world, facing a wall, totally unaware that all the people he was trying to reach were actually behind him.
So, picture this. It's a busy park, people are everywhere, walking by, talking, living their lives. But to them, he's basically invisible. The sources even mention that some people actually laughed as they walked past, completely missing the quiet struggle that was happening right there in front of them.
And we're not talking about a few minutes here. He was out there late into the night, cold and just completely alone. The real gut punch is thinking about that feeling of isolation, right? Hoping for just one sale that was never going to happen because he was facing the wrong way. But then everything changes. In that whole stream of people just rushing by, one young woman, she stops. She doesn't just walk past like everyone else. She sees him. I mean, she really sees him.
And this moment, this is the spark for the whole story. It wasn't some huge, grand gesture, not at first anyway. It all started with just a little bit of curiosity, a simple decision to connect. And that one act would set off a chain reaction that, honestly, nobody could have seen coming. So she walks up to him, gently turns him around so he's facing the street, and she just starts talking to him. And as he starts to open up and share his story, she begins to uncover this absolutely devastating reality he was living with every single day. Now, here's where it gets kind of interesting. As the story spread online, the details started to shift a bit. In some versions, he lost his sight in a car accident. In others, it was because of glaucoma. Sometimes he was selling the balloons to pay for his child's crucial surgery, and other times it was to pay off his late wife's medical debt. But here's the thing. While the little details might change, the core truth is exactly the same. This was a man in a truly desperate, almost impossible situation. Let's just take a second to really feel the weight of this. He goes through this life-shattering tragedy, gets absolutely no help, uses up every resource he has from his family, and still, he doesn't resort to begging. He chooses to work, to stand out there in the freezing cold and sell balloons. I mean, can you imagine that kind of resilience? He just flat out refused to give up. So after hearing all this, the woman is just completely moved. She knows she has to do more than just buy a single balloon. She decides she's going to step in, and in a way that is just so generous, but also incredibly thoughtful. Her first impulse is, well, it's astonishing. She offers to buy every single balloon he has for $10,000, an amount of money that would literally change his entire life in an instant. And in a moment that just tells you everything you need to know about this man, he turns her down. The amount is just, it's too much. It feels like charity, and he can't bring himself to accept it. He has his pride, He has his dignity, and that was something he wasn't willing to sell. So, this is where the woman gets really, really smart. She totally understands his need to keep his dignity intact, so she comes up with this brilliant plan. First, she finds a new way to give it to him, a stuffed monkey toy. Then, she secretly tucks all that cash inside it. And finally, she gives him the toy. It's a gift, right? Not a handout. But her kindness didn't stop with the money. It was about more than that. She realized he had another, more immediate need. Warmth, some food, just basic human comfort. She knew he'd been standing out in that cold for hours, probably hadn't eaten anything. So she offers to take him to a warm restaurant. According to one version of the story, this was actually going to be his first real meal in days. And his response is just, it's absolutely heartbreaking. He hesitates. He quietly admits that he doesn't want to dirty the seats, that he knows most restaurants wouldn't welcome someone who looked like him. And that right there, that reveals a pain that's so much deeper than just being poor. It's the pain of being rejected by society. But she wouldn't hear it. Nope, she insisted. And this really gets to the heart of what she gave him. It wasn't just about the money hidden in a toy. It was the act of looking him in the eye and confirming his value, treating him not like a problem to be fixed, but like a human being who deserves respect. So, as you can imagine, the story of what happened next, of him finding the gift and just being overcome with emotion, it went viral. But why? What was it about this simple encounter
that just resonated with millions and millions of people?
Yeah, let's ask that question directly. I mean, in a world full of endless online content, why did this one particular story about a balloon seller and a kind stranger manage to cut through all of that noise?
Well, I think it just boils down to these really universal human truths. It's a reminder that behind every single face, there's a whole story we know nothing about. It shows us the incredible, life-changing impact that just one person can have. It's basically a masterclass in what real empathy looks like. Not just feeling sorry for someone, but truly trying to understand their world. And maybe most importantly, it highlights that dignity is a human need, just as vital as food or a roof over your head.
And all of that leaves us with this one final, really important question to think about. See, this story isn't just about a man selling balloons. It's a mirror. It forces us to look at ourselves and ask, who are the invisible people in our own lives? What quiet struggles are we walking right past every single day just because we haven't taken a second to stop and actually look?